Presented by That Time I Got Reincarnated in the Same World as an Anime Podcaster, this is Shonen Jumping the Gun, the show where we set our sights on the first chapter of a manga and decide if it's a misfire or a bullseye.
Let's see how many rounds are in this magazine.
On today's episode, Gravity Boys. Welcome, everybody. I've got my finger on the button of a nuclear apocalypse, and it's only been 2 days. Moxie the Ian, here with my black hole of comedy, parentheses respectful, Isekai Sensei Sama Brad. Brad, how you doing? We're now in an alternate reality recording studio. My concept of that was that besides there being a black hole in this piece, if the whole "you're bigger and funnier than me" and what's more massive than a black hole was the thought process.
I've reached
and also to see
critical comedy mass.
Critical comedy mass. And to, I believe, round out the sci-fi arc.
Yeah,
there might be a future bonus
unless
episode
we
if I
change
can
our
ever,
mind.
Yes, but there's technically a bonus episode I like to record, but a certain human needs to be nailed down for that.
Yeah.
This is the general end of it. We are covering from Shonen Jump, Gravity Boys, which is before my time reading Jump. I think it was probably. I would have been reading them, but I wasn't keeping up with all the new stuff.
Yeah, this was before we got deep into it.
Yes. This ran in Shonen Jump for 51 chapters from December 2019 to January 2021. So this is the old, I don't remember what my old rankings were, but this was one of those examples of I think that got to live a little bit longer. What, we're 5 volumes now at this point? So
it escaped an immediate axe, but didn't get to live.
It got to live 2 more volumes. It's what may or may not be happening to Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi right now. But no, the series was by Atsushi Nakamura, and this seemed like an up-and-comer. I couldn't find anything. I'm sure if I looked deeper, I'd find a bunch of one-shots, but they've been out long enough. I'm curious to know what they're doing now.
Did you make a note about the translator for this?
No, I did not. Who is it?
It wasn't anybody that we know.
Oh.
But it was we definitely should have wrote it down. It's Christina something. I just wanted to point it out because some of the translations in this first chapter, I was like, I think that's a choice that they made.
Oh, okay. I had a good time with the localization.
Yeah,
so.
no, that's my point.
Oh, in a good way?
Yeah.
Okay. You said it in a way of
yeah.
But okay.
We'll get into that.
We'll get into that. Oh, also, this is suggested to us by Spubby from Flopcord. So thank you, Spubby. I hope you're hearing this, and if you're not, whatever. Also, just because I captured it because Shonen Jump series have a little sentence byline on things that Gravity Boys is declared as a brotastic space comedy adventure. And you know what? I would agree with that. But to learn about that, we have to get into my patented Moxie's Mach Speed manga summary. We begin in space, but hurtling dangerously towards a planet in our spaceship? Chapter 1, Genar Diversion 3-1. The year is 2000... Shoot, how do I say this better?
2119.
19? 2112. 6969. The year is 2119 AD in a star system somewhere else. Despite a rough landing, 4 armor-suited robo-looking entities exit the spacecraft. The sciency one scans the atmosphere along with the big one and finds no major dangers and a safe environment to take their helmets off. Just like they thought.
Major danger.
Major danger. We meet our 4 gravity bros, Shonen hero and pilot, Tachikaze Saga, age 17, femme-looking doctor, Chris Arrett, age 17,
You're just going to call him out like that?
It's what I felt like when I was reading it before the things that happened.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure.
I called that immediately.
Yeah, it was very... We'll get there. Posh space physicist Geralt? Jerry. It's Jerry.
Geralt.
Isn't that what the guy from The Witcher's named? Yeah. Zeman, aged 18, and large emotional engineer Mama Luigi Baba Zulagi. Where's this man from? Because they're all ostensibly Japanese, but this is the wildest name I've... Baba Zulagi Kilpalgat. Is that Indian?
I don't know.
It's Indonesian? South? I have no idea. He's great, though.
Mongolian.
Also possible. They've landed on an Earth-like planet deemed Alpha Jumbro. That was the Alpha symbol, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They did it. Project Hermes was a success, and the future of the Earth is saved. Oh, even though humanity's been wiped out. Just all gone. Oh, what a downer. Let's not think about it. But think about it we do. 2 days after their launch, there was a nuclear war. Talk about jumping the gun, says Tachikaze, which prompts laughter in Chris, and also me for name-dropping the show. So, did you also laugh when you read that?
I did the DiCaprio meme.
You did it's you. That's the thing. It's us.
He said the thing.
We're on television. It was to be a 20-year journey, but on day 2, a nuclear war broke out. They were called humanity's last hope and then never heard from Earth again. Then on day 3, a black hole emerged and sucked them in and popped them out above Alpha Jumbro, seemingly the last 4 Earthlings alive. Now how will they survive? Scans complete. Everything looks very Earth-like and verdant and safe, but Science Guy Geralt says the planet doesn't have much going for it. He's already given up. They're the last 4 Earthlings and not a female among them. No matter what they do, the history of humanity ends with the 4 of them. What?
Oh, just...
Did I miss something?
No, keep going.
Okay. I'm glad you're laughing because it's like I could not capture... Like, I guess noted this, I am not capturing the vibe of this manga. Yeah. I couldn't do it. This summary would have been so much longer, but I'm sure we'll get into the vibe of it. Then suddenly a strange light and a cloaked being appears. They hail from another dimension, another dimension, another dimension.
Higher dimension.
Much higher than theirs. I wanted to do the Beastie Boys bit. Don't step on me. Which the boys quickly accept after all the weirdness they've already been through. The figure takes pity on them and grants them a single chance. The Jenner diversion, the elixir of reincarnation. Brad, your favorite. You love that. Only one may take it, and just this once switch to the opposite gender and have their memories changed as if they were always that gender. Or sex, kind of complicated. Don't know. Weird higher plane being, whatever. They freak out at the possibility, but Femish Chris calls everyone's attention. This is crazy, but let's do a full search and settle down before we do something like this. Later, Chris is organizing things, and hey, there's Saga to lend a hand with the heavy lifting. But then there's Baba with a warm blanket for Chris. And wait, now Gerard's here complimenting Chris's look. Hold up. Why are they doting on Chris so much? Sure, he's the smallest and weakest of them, but he was chosen for the project just like them. Why are you like this? Be calm and listen to me, Chris. Steeples fingers. Become a woman. But wait! Chris says you're only basing this on looks. Like, sure, I get mistaken as a girl growing up, but this is more than just appearance. This is the survival of our species.
Jesus Christ.
Girl starts positing that they don't know what all the change... shoot, I gotta see the sentence. Girl starts positing that they don't know what all it will change about their look or genes or chromosomes. Maybe it's possible that the change would be relative to the size of one's penis. I mean, a bigger dick could mean bigger boobs. Exactly. And who has the biggest hog but Baba? A back and forth comedy fight breaks out among the 4 that I cannot do justice of. Who would make the best girl? Please just go read it.
You missed the best joke in the whole thing.
What's the best joke?
Baba is you.
Oh, yeah. It's just Baba is you. It's not a joke. That's just they said that's another point. They said the thing. That's not. They don't know about the thing, but I guess maybe they did back then. Finally, Chris tries to bring the fight to a stop. Let's just apologize and regroup. We'll never survive if we don't work together. The other 3 boys are getting into their mech suits to fight and protect Chris. This is getting stupid. In an attempt to stop this, Chris grabs the emergency gun and threatens to destroy the elixir. For a moment when that scene's happening, I thought he was getting ready to shoot himself. He's like, I'm gonna fucking...
that was what they were going
He's going to do the Harry Dubois thing of like, you better tell me what I want to know or I'm going to shoot myself. This calms them all down. They almost ended humanity there. But really, even if they use it, there's still not enough genetic diversity. They're still done for. Maybe that light being was just fucking with them. And with friendship restored, they toss it off far into the distance until it has a team rocket is blasting off again moment. Humanity couldn't handle the nukes, so maybe we're just not equipped to handle this. But wait. Maybe humanity is alive. Other nations must have had their own space projects too, right? Geralt posits that maybe there's an entire mission of women out there somewhere coming to this planet. This hypes up Saga and Baba and disappoints Chris. They're going primitive again. I'm going to bed. End of chapter. Brad, fuck, this manga is so funny.
They're definitely on Earth, right?
What?
Yeah.
Why do you think they're on Earth?
They went through a black hole, and it's exactly like Earth.
But there's also a weird, crazy light being.
They went
why would
into the future more.
Oh, so you think this is a Dr. Stone situation?
Yeah.
Imagine Dr. Stone and then these yahoos show up.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's got to be what's going on. And at some point, Chris will be a girl.
They'll all be... You know me. I have gender conversations a lot.
Yeah.
This could have been such a, like, knife-edge tightrope walk, but it was just... It got the memo and was great, and it just devolved into the exact type of... Like, it was, like, there was never a moment where I was like, okay, guys. Every little moment they do... Like, the fact that it spreads to, like... Well, maybe I would make the best girl, fucker. Like, the fact that it turns into that and, like, all this stupid bro chat, like, it was great. I think, to your point, like, I think the localization really made it hum along. Like, it was great. It was really funny.
When they did the intro cards near the beginning, I like, was reading over it, and then I, like, went back. I was like, that's a boy.
I know. I had that. That's why I, like, specifically stayed in the summary, because it's like, at that moment, I'm like, oh, that was a girl. Oh, no, I'm seeing he-hims. I'm seeing Chris. Yeah. Like, that's a boy. Everybody's saying it's a boy. They're all bros. And that, like, the fact that it was like, that's weird. And then you get the hour, the reincarnation, like, so, like, this turns you into a girl. I'm like, huh.
And Chris, that can
go.
be...
I know, but is it? But just, like,
I was like, I get it. Yeah, you should be the woman.
It's really like, well, but wait a minute. Like, if it changes your looks, it doesn't matter. Like, you know, it just. And the like, I'm so curious how this keeps going, and if the comedy can be as continually funny as it is.
And I gotta say, like, they specifically point out, because as soon as the resolution of all that happened and I calmed down as well as them, I was like, oh wait, there's not enough of them to reproduce anyway. It doesn't matter.
They're still like, they could get one generation out and then they're done for.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, good.
Like, constantly have the thought that you're having, which doesn't always happen in these things.
Which is also why I think this is Earth, and all the humans aren't dead. There's going to be humans somewhere. So.
Why do you think that?
Because that's what happens in these kind of things.
What are you pulling from? What notes are you cribbing?
All of sci-fi.
This is not Planet of the Apes.
Yes, it is.
What is there's no apes. What is the glowing light figure from a higher plane? I know it doesn't have to actually be that. It could just be somebody messing with them. But, like, I don't actually know. Like, I don't know yet. I don't know. But
know.
Also, it's a comedy, so that could be. But, like, is that funny?
Not necessarily. They'll find a way.
You just seem so confident. I didn't get, like, a whiff of whatever you're smelling.
Because every other thought that I had during this whole thing turned out immediately to be true.
Okay, I guess I never had that thought even a little bit, and I'm still kind of, like, surprised at your, like, clarity of it. I don't 100% disagree, but I don't agree. I'm just sort of like, okay, interesting.
Because they land...
Don't they see weird alien creatures that are just Earth-like?
There's different creatures, but they're basically just mammals. They're small mammals.
Yeah, from a different planet that had an Earth-like biosphere.
Or from hundreds of thousands of years in the future.
I guess we'll have to keep reading to find out.
Yeah.
But no, I was just so completely bowled over by this manga sense of humor about a subject that I'm touchy about, from a magazine that continually makes me iffy about it in certain scenarios. And they was just like, no, we know what we're doing. Like, you can joke about this stuff. Like, a lot of this stuff is funny, weird things to poke at. And they had the exact right tone and approach to do it. If it just stopped, like, it's kind of funny before everybody gets into it, but it's just like the lead up of, like, everybody's helping Chris out and you're just like, I know what's going on. Yep. Like, it's funny because you just, like, because it's like, these are how these stupid idiots are thinking. It's not like, this is how it's not where you can feel the author. Like, this is how the author thinks, that you can feel through how it's written. It's just like, no, we're having fun. Yeah. This is a funny thing. And the way that it bounces around in all the weird ways, all of them are strange. I love how much the freaking science guy's a weird degenerate. Bob is a big emotional guy. The pilot guy, Saga, is like he's your shonen main guy. And it's just like I feel like that's what a lot of this arc is. I'm so curious where this goes. I hope this is not, what was it, Yokai Buster Murakami, where it's like the first chapter is the funniest one and it never quite as funny again.
Oh, there's some pretty funny things later on.
You did say that. You liked Murakami a lot. But like we have an entire quote unquote alien planet to explore. This light being might come back, so there's like a weird intrigue with that.
Let's be fair.
And like I just want to spend more time with these yahoos.
I don't need Chris to be a girl. I'm fine with
I want to be Baba to be the girl.
The way he is.
He's gonna have a massive tits. His hog's gigantic. Like that's just like what dumb boy thoughts to have in that moment. Like that's what makes that so funny. It's just like, what if it was your penis that made your boobs bigger? What else do you think will happen? Do you think we're going to mess with that more, or do you think we're going to have other silly things we're going to get into of like getting food and...
Well, I think if they don't find out that there's still people, that this is Earth and there's people, I think they will find some kind of alien to interact with, whether it's an animal or an intelligent species.
Do you think they did, it's the light being. Do you think I know it's a joke, but like, do you think other space missions will show up?
Maybe. There's certainly a possibility.
Goku went to Namek already, and at some point Krillin and Bulma have to show up.
They did put some detail into what if there's a spaceship of all women? So it's
like, I think that's the gag part, but specifically the line of, well, other nations must have had space programs, and like, did they necessarily launch on that same day? I don't know, but like, it's enough of a thing for a manga for as silly as this manga is, a manga that multiple times when you have a thought and the manga goes, yeah, I had that thought too.
Yeah.
Here's a gag about it, or here's a thought, here's a point about it, which like it's nice to be heard for what's seen for once when reading a manga and Jump. But yeah, I had a good time with it. I hope it can remain funny. I hope it can talk about other things and still like they've set up the character dynamics really well already. It was billed as a comedy. It's fun to see, like, again, we don't see a lot of sci-fi stuff in Jump.
Yeah.
And obviously this is not in Jump anymore because it ended. But, like, knowing how, it got to live a little bit longer, but I feel like just, like, maybe it just, as a comedy, it just didn't have legs in the magazine because comedies don't seem to do that.
Yeah.
And also just, like, it's hard to be consistently really funny week after week. And in like a kind of sense.
Right.
Like, there's a lot of funny manga that can come out on a weekly basis or a semi-weekly basis, like a Jump Plus thing. Like, it's not like it's really hard to be funny week by week, but like to this level,
right?
When this is your first bite, that the second bite's probably not going to be as comically sugary as the first one. But like, I think it did its job. I think it set up the scenario well. I think it set up the characters well. It gave you a taste of it. Like,
I'm really positive from the first chapter.
Me too.
Yeah,
me too. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know anything about Agravity Boys. And, sometimes bro stuff can be not funny and be very not palatable, especially to me. So that's why when it happened and it was just like, oh my gosh, they're doing it right. This is so great. This is so fun. I'm having a blast. It's really funny. So, I guess what we said, dealing with the alien planet.
It's
at some point somebody's going to want to try to keep a pet and maybe it's going to be dangerous.
Right.
And they're going to be like, no, guys, it's fine, as it slowly like destroys parts of the ship or something. There you go. Is there anything that wasn't in this first chapter that you would want here, or anything that you would want removed from this first chapter going forward?
I don't know. It's hard. I was pretty focused on Chris the whole time. So, what else happened?
I do hope another character that is a character, not just the light being, or the light being shows themselves, is like, once you get a dynamic going with the four boys, to have like another character to kind of go in there and mess with them more.
Yeah.
Maybe the shadowy figure's got like a great Gazoo sort of. Was he the great Gazoo or the great Kazoo? I think he was a Gazoo. You know what I'm talking about?
From the Flintstones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like here's a bunch.
Of course,
here's
I
your
know
bud.
what you're talking.
Okay, sorry. Dare to be stupid. I know.
You posted it in the flop court earlier today about that painting you made, and I'm like, of course I know what that is. What are you talking?
I don't know. But fuck, you made me lose my train of thought. Why did I invoke Dare to be stupid? What did you know?
Great Kazoo.
Yeah. But just like this weird supernatural being just sort of fucking with them for their own selfish purposes.
I think if that was going to happen...
And that's fine because that's funny.
They would have come back at the end already.
I don't think they need to.
That's just the feeling that I get from... Like, that comedy bit feels like that. Like, they wouldn't necessarily interact with them again, but you'd see them again. You'd get some hint.
I feel like you leave that looming of what's their deal. Was it being genuine, or was it actively trying to mess with them? And that's like a fun little little seed to plant of at some point they will come back. What was their intention? But yeah. Any closing thoughts before we go into our feelings?
I mean, we should talk about the art a little bit.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
I liked it. It's just fun seeing sci-fi. It's fun seeing sci-fi and robo designs. Their robot suits were fun.
I would say it's got sort of like the normal style, but they obviously put a lot of effort into it.
I would say a cut above that, but maybe I don't know how much of that is shaped by this being a sci-fi. So I get to see a lot of shonen-y ships. And
I don't think they were trying to do anything overly interesting with the art.
No, but it was fun. It was funny. The character expressions were good. Like, it did its job.
The designs are good.
Yeah.
The character designs are good. The backgrounds are good.
You know who everybody is.
Technology is good.
You're never confused about who's who. They all have very fun designs. When you see them all in their mechs, that makes it very clear. Like, here's the tiny one. Here's the big one. Here's the slendery one.
A lot of people
are
confused about Chris, but that's...
We're all confused about things. Sometimes we're confused about things, Brad. You're running this joke into the ground, bud.
I'm going to run something into the ground.
Okay, bud. Okay, sure. But yes, so your thinky thinks and your feely feels. What's your feely feels?
Horny.
Brad, calm down. I don't think it ever. I don't know if I like or dislike. They never draw any of them as women.
Yeah.
For the bit when they're doing the bit of like, I would be best girl.
No, that's good. They don't need to.
They're saving it. Save it for WrestleMania. We just got here.
I'm thinking and feeling great.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm feeling great. I think I'm thinking good. Not optimistically. The opposite of optimistically. Pessimistically. Really? Just because knowing how long it lived in the magazine, having other series to go off of for like that were really funny and just weren't as funny after the first one.
My thought with that is that like
my thoughts have been burned. My feelings are just like I'm having a hee hee ha ha good time.
But from like an objective perspective, I think as a first chapter, this was really well done.
Yeah.
Like it had really good pacing.
Yes.
Really good designs. The story is funny and interesting. The character interactions are good.
I'm sad that I don't think I'm going to hee hee ha and ha as much as the next chapter. And that's my worry based on evidence of other series we've covered that were funny. I don't think it will turn bad, but I just think it will turn not as great as my first bite, which admittedly describes a lot of manga I read.
And I think it's fair. Like knowing how long it goes, I think it probably peters out. I think the problem is that it probably couldn't keep up what it was doing for this chapter.
Yeah, that's my worry by virtue of other series we run where that happens. Where
I don't know,
but I think it knows where it's going.
Yeah, but I don't.
Well, I guess I think it knows.
I don't know that it's fair to rate it lower because you know where it's going to go.
Well, I don't know where it's going to go, but I have evidence.
Well, you know it's going to.
That's why my brain. That's why I said I feel that it's great. I had a really great time with it. I mean, less like. I mean, it's the joy of like a comedy series or one that approaches like that. It's like it's less that it's like it knows where it's going and more that it's like it's set up its toys and now it gets to play in whatever direction it wants to. And that's for a series like this. That's exciting. I think about. I mean, Chojo's a little bit more of a gag manga, but Chojo sets up like, here are our toys. Here's he's got psychic powers. He likes playing with toys. He goes and fucks with the kids at the park. Here's our female lead. She has judo stuff. She's kind of, she's a little naive at times. Like, you set all your toys up so then you can start moving them around and playing out little stories. And you want to set up little scenarios to be like, oh, this is a good, fulcrum upon which the comedy beam can be balanced and moved up and down.
I might drop JoJo.
I'm surprised you're still on it. I haven't read. I forgot about JoJo until he said it out loud. I forgot it's in the magazine all the time.
I think it's too long. I think it needs to.
You should be reading.
Be shorter
you should
chapters.
be reading Roboco.
Yeah.
Don't start from the beginning. Like, just swap. Like, Roboco is shorter. It's more self-contained. If you're not feeling a chapter, there was like this one. I think their like most recent one was like, I didn't really like it because it was about a Japanese pop star I didn't know who had done the music for the movie. But it was just like, these gags don't, like, it's one of those, it was very much like, I have to have the jokes explained to me, which makes them not funny by virtue of, but I wouldn't need that if I was in Japan and knew about this pop star, but I don't. So it was just very like, okay, there's a bunch of references and gags I don't get. But I remember the week or two ago, where they made a joke about they had their own Jump magazine, and that was really good. So I would say I've had more hits than misses, and some of these hits have been like cackling laughter. So that's my suggestion. My suggestion is we should read more Agravity Boys and swap over from Shoujo to Roboco.
Yeah. I don't have to because it's in my Shonen Jump subscription, but I would buy the first volume.
I would buy the first volume of this. I feel like sometimes it's like I have to think about it, or it's just like, I'm curious, but this one is just like, I had such a blast with that first one in a way that I was not expecting, that I'm so excited to read more.
I wonder if the box set comes with a poster of Chris.
Brad, you can't do this. You can't do this. Should we...
Oh, you're right. I can't. He's 17. Shit.
Yeah, you can't. Or is he 16? Weren't the two 16 and then it's like 17 and 17? Are they all underage technically?
I thought they were all 17.
No, they're definitely not all the same age. Let me look at it. I had them all written down because I wanted to make a clear point of like, they're all children, and also, oh, you're right. They are 17. Girl and Baba are Girl is 18 and Baba is 19. Okay. So
there you go.
You're gonna have to wait a little while.
Yeah,
bud.
I can wait.
I can wait for Chris.
Oh wait, that came out 4 years ago, right? we're good now.
How do you know they live at the end of it though? Aren't we all dead from the nuclear apocalypse?
I will build a
shelter for Chris.
Shelter, and I will
live for Chris.
Go into cryo sleep until they get here.
Brad, you get to sleep on the couch. You can do the plugs from the couch.
I just told you recently that this is my thing.
Get used to sleeping on the couch. Then.
You all listened to the Wise Beast
we
episode.
Did. Right? I was there.
You know what's going on.
I do. I guess he wasn't a furry, so he didn't come on my radar.
Do we have to do anything else?
Yeah, land the plane.
Land the spaceship.
Yeah, land the spaceship.
Yeah. I don't know. I had fun.
It's funny. Go read it.
Yeah.
That's the problem with, I feel like at one point we talked about doing a gag manga arc, but I feel like that's a bad idea because we would go like, it's funny. I'd have to,
right.
I'd have to just, because if I wrote just what happened, it wouldn't be funny. And if I just wrote the jokes, just go read the manga, dummy. Like, I can't summarize it.
Just one episode that's like 6 different series.
Yeah.
They're all gag series.
Yeah. We do a manga piece theater that is basically sketch comedy that we've stolen from these manga.
Well, this episode is going to be a little bit shorter than we've been doing, but I don't know that there's not a ton to talk about. It's positive, but
I loved it. I'm excited to read more. I laughed a lot uncontrollably. Go read it. It's free. Chapter 1's free.
You know what we can do?
First 3 chapters.
Because guess what? This is the last episode of the sci-fi.
Oh, yes. We can wrap up the sci-fi arc.
We can rank them.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, we haven't been doing that. So what? We read Space
Adventure Cobra.
Space Adventure, Space Pilot, Space Adventure Cobra.
Planetess.
Gantz. Gantz. I wonder what's at the bottom of the list.
What was it? Reborn as a Space Mercenary.
Reborn as a Space. Ooh, actually. Oh, that's actually, no. Now there's a space knife fight happening. Space Brothers.
Space Brothers.
Brothers in space.
Brothers. They're brothers.
Space. That tagline's
space.
ours. That wasn't actually real. We made it up. It was a hoax. And now Agravity Boys.
Yeah.
I feel like we've done 6 sci-fi manga, and most of them were space related. All but one was space related. Only one was not space related.
Gantz.
Because space, you don't necessarily, confusingly enough, you don't necessarily need to be in space to do sci-fi.
Yeah.
They were very space-based.
Yeah.
Obviously, Space Adventurer, Cobra, Planetess.
Our secret bonus episode that we will eventually do
is not space-based.
Is not space.
I think there are certain arcs because it's like, I don't think I'm ever going to do a sports arc 2. I would do a sci-fi arc 2 in the future. I feel like there's a bunch more sci-fi that we could do. I mean, we're no space, but I feel like we could do less space.
And on the next one, the isekai we'll do is an actual good one that I've actually talked about before, but because I talked about it before, I was like, oh, we shouldn't do that one.
That we should have.
But we definitely should have.
So, okay. Planetess easily at the top.
Okay.
I don't think that's it. I don't think that's it. Is that a question for you?
Here's my thing.
Or do you want to build from... I feel like I have to build from both ends.
Because I'm on the fence for number 1 between Planetess and Agravity Boys.
Whoa.
Now, here's why. I'm going to explain why.
They are two very different flavors.
First of all, yes, very different.
Also Chris. Right? Out yourself. You're not being the allegations today, bud.
But the thing is, with Planetess, I have a notion that the series goes in a direction that is different from what I want it to do.
Okay, I respect
Whereas
that.
with Agravity Boys, I'm like, I think this is going to do what I want.
Yeah.
So I'm really on the fence with that. I think if I look at it purely from a 1-chapter perspective, I'll put Planetess at the top. But
that's like, I'm going to say in this case, normally I would say yes to that, but like Planetess, having just heard that episode recently, like it's so hard to compare it like that to everything else which has to go in an oncoming series, and that was very like much like, here is the things I'm going to tell and then I'm done. So I would say do your general feeling on it.
Well, my general feeling is colored by how I think it's going to go in the future. So I guess...
Which is what the show is.
I would put Agravity Boys first. Then.
Okay, so Agravity Boys.
And then Planetess.
Planetess.
Very close second.
Same for me, but swapped. Okay. I'm putting Planetess first because it was very beautiful, and then Agravity Boys because it was very funny. I would say Space Brothers then, for me.
Yes, I will agree with that.
And I know I said not without looking ahead to, like, not literally just that. I'm going to say for you placing Space Captain Reincarnation, yada, 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 it's from the first 2 chapters only. Like, not using
You just said... Okay.
I know.
Well, that...
because the difference is we have not read more chapters of Agravity Boys or Planetess.
Yeah.
But you have read more, so I'm trying to depower your thing to what we just talked about, because it gets really fudgy. And I know sometimes I've fucked with that because I put B-Stars higher because I know what happens with B-Stars. But I also really had a good time with B-Stars first chapter for B-Star. But yeah.
Rules for me and not for you.
Yeah. Well, no, because it was so different then. We both said it was dog shit.
Okay. Shit, Gantz is last.
Gantz is like, yep, nope, same.
Fuck that.
Because it's like when I talk, because I yada 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 reincarnated as a space captain.
It was just boring. It wasn't
boring,
bad.
but like Gantz, every time I say Gantz, there's much like the exhale in Space Brothers. There's an exhale of Gantz.
Yeah.
Okay, I have my lineup. I'm going to hit you with my lineup while you continue to roast over yours. Planetess at the top, followed by Agravity Boys, then Space Brothers, then Space Adventurer, Cobra, and those are all in like good to great tier. And then we get into Reincarnated as a space yada yada pilot, whatever, and then we get into Gantz.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair.
Yep. I feel like for you, it's mostly where does the dance of Space Brothers and Cobra The dance of the cobra.
Completely removing my future knowledge.
Yes.
I'll put Space Brothers third.
Okay.
And then Space Captain.
Yeah.
And then Cobra.
Okay.
And then Gantz.
Wow, Cobra underneath it.
Not by much.
Wow.
Mostly
I think
because...
some of your future vision is seeping in.
No,
that's fine.
No, it's not future vision. It's
you don't like old manga.
It's my isekai knowledge. Because reading those first 2 chapters...
You know things.
I go, okay, my isekai knowledge tells me that I'm going to like what's going to happen in the future.
Okay.
Again, and I said this in this Cobra episode, like, I didn't think Cobra was bad. The art style is close to putting me off, but not in a way that I'm like, oh, I don't think it's any good, but more in a way like, this isn't for me.
Palette. Yeah, in the same way that an isekai is generally not to my palette.
So in my rankings, like, Space Mercenary and Space Brothers and Cobra are like decidedly in the middle, and Gantz is just like way over there.
Yeah. What have we learned from this arc? I feel like in past arcs, like it's like when we did sports and romance, I learned something about those genres, and I feel like what I learned about this is the vastness of space. And by that I mean the vastness of the sci-fi genre.
Yeah, it's almost...
And we even stuck to space mostly, unintentionally, and even still it feels like all of them were so... I say so different, but Space Captain reincarnation in ways was similar to Cobra.
Yeah.
You know,
I
40, 50 decades apart.
I think this is the kind of thing where in a similar vein to isekai being a genre, quote unquote, like you almost have to go to subgenres under that to really sort of put things in categories, because that overarching label of sci-fi just doesn't give you enough information.
Because sometimes sci-fi is just like there is a slight futuristic element to it. It's like we're talking about one of them. Like I wrote sci-fi, even though we weren't in space and the tech wasn't that fantastical.
Right.
It was still technically sci-fi, because sci-fi is such a wide umbrella.
Right.
Which, like, the romance arc was fairly wide, but they all came home to this is about a romantic relationship. So you could always come back to that. And the Beast arc always came back to these are furry people in a relationship. Also, sometimes they play rugby.
The thing is like with Gantz, and we didn't get anywhere close to this, but there's yokai in Gantz.
It's a supernatural.
So it's like it's sci-fi, but it's also supernatural. It's doing a lot of different things. And none of them are fun.
No, all of them are annoying and piss me off. But like all of these, the tone was very different on all of these. Yeah. And I think that was what it was about. Some of them were more about... Were any of these commentary on something?
I don't know.
Because sci-fi a lot of the time can be... I feel like genuinely the only one that had commentary on something was Gantz. And I don't think that's why it was bad. I just think, I mean, it's not bad because it had commentary. It was bad because it had bad commentary.
Yeah. I don't...
But, like, isn't that a thing? It's like sci-fi... The bonus episode, I feel like, is commentary. Like, sci-fi... The sci-fi that I wrote is that. The sci-fi that I read recently about freaking... an AI that helped run a space prison colony on the moon, like, that had commentary about things.
Right.
You know? What's it called? I read it finally recently. I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream is a sci-fi short story about something. It has, I mean, everything's about something, but it had like a bigger thing it was discussing.
Right.
I don't think anything that we read outside of Gantz seemingly had that.
I don't think anything we read we know enough about, except for the isekai one. Definitely doesn't make a commentary on anything. We don't know enough to know if they are making
true, and I'm sure they could say things then, but like, I don't know. Maybe that's what. Maybe
I mean, Gravity Boys said nuclear war is bad. But...
I thought they said gender is funny, which I would agree.
That's probably the most we can take away from any of this.
Yeah, but maybe it's just by virtue of like maybe I would make more of an effort in the second sci-fi arc, however many, a year from now or something, to try to grab ones that were more like this is about something, you know, and the way that it's like Gundam is like you look at it and you're like, cool robot, and the missile goes over your head and it says war is bad.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard though, because for first chapters,
maybe that'll be part of that hunt, is that can you see it in the first chapter or not? So yeah, I feel like sci-fi arc, we learned the vastness, but also I learned that it's like I haven't really read a lot of sci-fi, and it's a fun change of pace to go into space, because space is so limitless and it's not the same grassy hill and the mines and the dwarves and the elves and here's a sword. It's like here's a ray gun and here's a spaceship and here's stars and here's aliens.
I do have to say,
like it just feels like so much of a wider canvas.
I like the thing we're doing with arcs.
Yeah.
Because it sort of not only just sort of focuses a few episodes into a particular space and allows us to sort of contrast wildly different series against each other because they fit into this category. But it's also letting us get into different series that we probably wouldn't be looking at otherwise.
Agreed.
In our next arc, we're going to be looking.
Do you want to just say what the next arc is? Because I'm really happy with what we've called it.
In our next arc, we're going to be looking at a bunch of stuff that doesn't necessarily go together.
Yeah,
because it's less of an arc and more of a. We just want to check these out.
Yes, the next arc that we have deemed the "fuck it, we ball" arc is just a bunch of series that either we are separately reading and want to talk about, or we've been hearing about and want to read.
Right. And so that's sort of more along the lines of like, that's what we were doing before. We were just checking out a whole bunch of different stuff. And I think we should do that every once in a while.
I think I want to keep this rhythm that the Beast arc unintentionally made of arc that is more specifically congruous to itself and arc that has a funny thing to band things we wouldn't have checked out together that aren't so of a like item.
Right.
And just alternate between those two. I don't know how much I'll hold to that by obviously everything.
Yeah, I don't know that it has to be every other, but
I like that rhythm of it.
Yeah.
That we're not too set into one thing.
But having a cohesive narrative throughout an arc.
It's fun because it gives when you have the conversation at the end, it gives us something more. Like I don't like. I mean, the Beast arc ended up having that for the most part of being furry romance arc, and that was fun. But it wasn't and by virtue, romance arc version 2.
Yeah.
But yeah. Do we want to? I kind of want to give away one series we're going to cover. Maybe not the first one, but by virtue of it being the one that you said to me and that I was already thinking about it, one of the series we're going to cover for the Fuck It We Ball arc is Bug Ego, because as soon as I read it, I was just like, Brad needs to read this and we need to cover it on the podcast.
And you know what happened?
What?
Somebody on the Flopcord suggested it, and I went and read the first chapter, and I went, shit, I can't read any more of this because we have to cover this on the show.
I'm already caught up, so you get to do that. So,
you bastard.
Yep, it was before I knew you were in on it, before we had a Fuck It We Ball arc. So
I'm so professional, and you just...
I wasn't thinking about it at the time. I wanted to read it because sometimes you just got to read manga, I read a bunch of... The other series I'm going to bring to you is one that I'm caught up on because I love it, You didn't have to stop. You did.
Because I'm a fucking professional. Yeah. It's why I actually tried to write a good summary for those shit chapters.
When you bring isekai to me, I don't read any more chapters than what you ask me. I'm the utmost professional when you bring me manga.
Shut the fuck up.
So yeah, this has been Sci-Fi Arc. Sans maybe bonus episode that will arrive whenever it decides to in the future.
Agravity Boys.
Oh yeah, this episode's been Agravity Boys. Did we already do the plugs and all that?
No.
Okay.
I was lamenting that the episode would be too short, and then I remembered that's the last one.
I appreciate you doing that, because I don't think we remember that as much with the Beast arc.
Because I'm a fucking professional.
Bigger and funnier than me, folks. Brad, with all of that now, with more time put on the clock, hit me with them plugs.
Well, as always, we need to thank Sugoi Mart for partnering with us. Sugoi Mart's a retailer of Japanese snacks, drinks, toys, and merch. All kinds of cool stuff you can't get outside Japan. Our listeners can click the link in the description or use code APR15 at checkout to get 15% off their first order. And of course, we want to hear from you, so go on our website, animepodcasterreincarnation.com, where you can find the links to our social media. One of those links is to our Discord, which is the best place to come and chat with us. You can also find links to our Patreon. Our supporters get perks like getting to vote on which series we cover on heroin addiction, the bonus episodes that are exclusive to our patrons, and getting the high-quality stereo version of the podcast early. And, of course, we need to shout out our patrons. First and foremost, at our noble tier, we have our marquee, Sir Cake Dwarf.
Space Marquee. Space Dwarf.
It's Space Dwarf.
It's the Space Dwarf.
At our Reincarnator tier, we've got Moon. And last but not least, at our Commoner tier, we've got Rena. So thanks so much to all our patrons.
Thank you, patrons. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Brad, for doing that. Make sure you listen to all the podcasts on our feed. And I didn't come up with an outro joke because I wanted to dangle the gendered thing, and it just feels like not funny.
Hey, Gravity Boys!
Hey, Gravity Boys! It's your Gravity Boys! Hey, Gribbly Mims!
Our listeners can click the link. Our listeners can click the link in the description.
Can lick the click. Hey. You're done for. You're done for. You're complete. You're toast. You're goo.
Because I'm a fucking professional. Chris is so cute.
It's just going to be... And the episode ends while Brad just murmurs on about how adorable Chris is. Brad, hold up. I know you want to crush that twink. Oh, wait. There's something there with Gravity. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And, Brad, you're lucky it's Gravity Boys, because otherwise you would crush that twink.
It's
good stuff. I'm so surprised.
It's the femme coding.
It's just it's funny. But it's funny in this case where I was like, when it was the wise beast, I was like, yes. And now that he's just a boy, I'm like, I'm not like getting the hose quite yet, but it's like you are going feral, and I'm like, yo.
But I told you.
I know.
It's the femme coding for me. I like furries.
It's just interesting. We had that moment, and now I'm on the other side of the glass instead of on the same side of the glass.
See, you're too drawn on the furry side.
Yes, correct.
Instead of just the overall
cute boys,
the
cute
cute
femboys side.
So yeah,
you a femboy,
and I'm not that picky.
Good for you.
It is good for me.
Bicon.